Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. The past couple of weeks I was really busy with house moving and stuff. Just got the family settled down and try to catch up a bit with my video during this weekend. And of course, have a little fun time myself painting my Maschinen Krieger. In today's episode, I will be talking about 4 SAFS combat scheme variants, combining some illustration I found on the Maschinen Krieger books published in the early 2000s to better illustrate some of the story they mention in the combat scheme card. So, the first one. This is the armed suit of 2nd Lieutenant Alan W., 1st Squadron Boomerang, 9th Armored Trooper Wing. During Operation Super Hammer in September 2885, the unit was deployed in Sahan area in the northern part of Bo Plain, defending the retreat passage for friendly forces. 2nd Lieutenant Allen was a non-commissioned officer who was appointed to fill the vacancy in this operation. He was calm and brave enough to win the trust of other team members. Afterwards, his unit achieved great results such as capturing the enemy's senior officers in Battle of Lake L Basin, which was the result of the 2nd Lieutenant's outstanding command that say. He finally retired in June 2886, but 2 months later, he died at the age of 38 when he collided with a mercenary fighter jet while on a civilian plane. And during his military career, he destroyed 24 enemy units, and surprisingly, half of them a large unmanned vehicle such as Nutcracker. On the right hand side, the number 2 is the armored suit of the 24th Guerrilla in the 9th Secret Service Company. The mercenaries, distressed by the interruption of communication networks, have set up surveillance posts in areas where it is difficult to form a front line to monitor the movements of enemy forces. In South America in particular, several spy units brought the UDK-38 Shunken into jungle to monitor the enemy and carry out guerrilla activities, such as raiding enemy supplies and hindering reconnaissance operations on the shore side. The 2nd Secret Service Company also carry out harassment activity in collaboration with more than 20 SAFS. The Shunkens they deployed in South American jungles are equipped with waste heat, camouflage, and large caliber laser cannons. Most operations went smoothly for the Secret Service Company, but in September 2886, they were met with a strong counterattack from the Stealth Army. The Secret Service lost Shunken and most of the SAFS after engaging the enemy's elite regiment. Pictured here is one of the destroyed and captured SAFS in that battle. The pilot cannot be identified. What we can tell is that the rainforest-style camouflage on this armored suit is close to the camouflage prescribed by mercenaries, but only the squadron number is written on the hatch and the shoulder armor plate. Regarding the dango holding a gun graffiti painted on the chest, because of the demise of this unit, we are currently unable to identify whether this is a personal insignia or a unit symbol. Number 3. This armored suit belongs to Lieutenant Robert Smith, nicknamed Gate Crusher, in the 2nd Squadron of the 13th Special Panzer Company. This company, set up from the 1st Tank Division, has one of the best strike powers among the mercenaries, and the lieutenant himself is aptly named and has taken the role of vanguard in many battles. In particular, the 2nd Squadron, led by Lieutenant, often begin charging towards enemy without waiting for the friendly forces to stop their artillery fire. The squadron usually used a brutal strategy known as Jack the Ripper to break through the enemy's front lines. Although the victory was huge, the lieutenant's exaggerated command style has been criticized by some officers in the company. However, contrary to what people have heard, his command only seems rough. The lieutenant is very strict and cautious with his battle plan. There are few cases of casualty in the company. The trust of his men will never be shaken. Because of their brutal tactic on the battlefield and the heavy combat missions, the squadron needs to frequently resupply to repair their armor suits. It has been decided that they will convert their suits into something with a thicker armor than SAFS. Finally, let's move to number 4, an interesting one. This is Antonio and Cara from the 2nd Squadron 16th Jaeger Regiment and its light infantry unit. There are many ancient soldiers and some of them are rather superstitious. They like to put all kinds of symbols, letters and characters on their armored suits just to keep them lucky on the battlefield. Antonio is one of those who were talked into putting a superstitious sign on the hatch of his SAFS. Although the sign Antonio painted on the hatch was given by a scammer teammate who is full of shit. As you can see in the picture, the sign is just a simple letter A. It did work as a lucky sign that saved Antonio's life. On the day the Jaeger unit received the latest SAFS, Antonio and his team were sent to a mission to test out this new armored suit. Funny as it sounds, Antonio was never injured before he switched to SAFS. His previous armor suit doesn't even have a scratch. But the very first day he put on the SAFS, he almost died on the battlefield. The early batch SAFS came with some serious flaws and wasted the lives of many soldiers. One of those flaws is the unreliable gyro sensor. Sometimes it cannot accurately adjust the balance of the suit, making soldiers trip over themselves during combat. And just like that, when Antonio was tripped over due to the faulty sensor in his suit, a stray bullet, or more precisely, a stray cannonball, blown his hatch open, and Antonio fell into a coma because of the concussion. Although he suffered some burns, he was very lucky and got taken back to the medic by his wingman. Some argued the superstitious sign on his hatch brought that stray cannonball to him, while others believed it was that sign that kept him alive. Nevertheless, Antonio returned to his unit after recovery and drew an even bigger sign on the hatch of his new SAFS. And that would be the end of today's episode, and I hope you guys enjoying the content. And if you have any feedback or any comment, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. Thank you.